So, I'm not like a history major or anything, but I think to really understand what I'm doing, it helps to have a little background on the genre that I'm working in. So, I want to talk about automatism. But to talk about that, we need to talk about surrealism. Surrealism is an art form that is chiefly interested in channeling the unconscious to unlock one's imagination. They were very against rationalism and realism. A lot of surrealist philosophy was inspired by Sigmund Freud and the popular psychoanalyst trend during that time, around the late 1910s, early 20s. So the most known surrealist is probably Salvador Dali. I personally like his sketchbooks a little more than his paintings, but whatever. We also have Joan Miro, who is well known for his biomorphic shapes juxtaposed with ordinary everyday things. My personal favorite of the surrealists is Rene Magritte. I just enjoy like wordplay and such. The Manifesto of Surrealism was published in 1924 by André Breton, a painter and a trained psychiatrist. He defines surrealism as psychic automatism in its pure state, by which one proposes to express verbally, by any means of the written word or in any other manner, the actual functioning of thought. So he was trying to hack the brain and get to the underlying humanity of it all. But what is psychic automatism? Automatism is the performance of actions without conscious thought or intention. In the medical world, it means somebody who does something involuntarily, and in the court of law, it means someone who commits a crime unknowingly. For art, at least, it means avoiding conscious choices in your work, allowing it to flow freely and truly unlock your imagination. So how do you do that? How do you do something without consciously doing it? There's a couple ways that they do that. One of them is automatic drawing or writing, which was first talked about in 1913 in the Book of Pleasure by Austin Osman Spare. Automatic drawing is when you allow your hand to move freely without control, allowing any spills, rips, or etc. to incorporate themselves into the piece. The idea is to see if you can channel anything deeper than yourself out. During the heyday, there was a contingency of spiritualists who actually believed that when they were automatically drawing, they were being controlled by spirits, but I'm not going to give that any credence because it's kind of silly. Other ways of forcing irrationality were drugs and alcohol. Most of these pieces would start off as automatic drawings and then would be refined with representational forms when they showed up in the piece. Or they would collectively create a piece without the other contributors knowing what they were making. The easiest example would be the game Exquisite Corpse, in which 3 people draw sections of the body without seeing the other 2 sections. So now we're getting a little closer to what I'm trying to do. And what I want to do is what some would call surautomatism. Surautomatism is any theory or act in practice of surrealist creative production that takes, or purports to take, automatism to its most absurd limits. It was pioneered by Les Automatistes in the mid-40s, who believed that the surrealists of the past just never took it far enough. As the Romanian surrealists Gerashim Luca and Dolphy Trust put it, we have returned to the problem of knowledge through images, by establishing a clear distinction between images produced by artistic means and images resulting from rigorously applied scientific process, such as the operation of chance or automatism. We stand opposed to the tendency to reproduce through symbols certain valid theoretical contents by the use of pictorial techniques, and believe that the unknown that surrounds us can find a staggering materialization of the highest order in indecipherable images. In generally accepting until now pictorial reproductive means, surrealist painting will find that the way to its blossoming lies in the absurd use of the aplastic, objective, and entirely non-artistic procedures. In short, they believed that representational images were holding back the unconscious and surrealism as a whole, and to push forward and get to what is next in the genre, it would be necessary to throw that away. So, now we can get to what I'm working on. Sleeping Puppet Automatism. I happen to agree with the Automatistes. I think we can go further, we can go deeper. When painting, you're still using your eyes and your hand and your brain. I think that the knowledge that you are painting or drawing inevitably leads to you making rational choices and putting some kind of control over the piece. But what if your mind wasn't aware? What if you didn't even know you were working? What is less conscious than a man awake? A man asleep. So I made this. Alright, it's super simple. So when I go to sleep, I strap myself in. Each of my arms and legs are connected to each of the poles on the side, connected to the middle part, which has a graphite pencil. When I move my right, say my right arm, moves it that way. When I move my left leg, moves it the other way, and vice versa. When I'm sleeping, it'll move, I'll make a drawing, we'll figure out what it means in the morning. Pretty simple, right? In order to allow as many variables as possible, but still keep track of them, I will not be changing any habits other than hooking up to the mechanism. I'll record my emotional state, my diet, any factors, anything that could possibly affect my sleep. I will be posting regular videos from each day that I do the experiment. That'll be sped up of me sleeping and the piece being drawn, and then I'll discuss all the factors from the day beforehand to see if there's any connection. We'll also discuss the drawing that gets made, and I'll have a show of that. My hope is to see if I can find any patterns with my own unconscious movement and to do something that has not yet been done. I think that if we want to keep pushing art forward, then we have to try anything, even if it's going to be a fucking dud, just to see if it's worthwhile. This might not have any bearing on anything as a whole, but it's worth a try. And I think maybe this will add and help me be a better artist. At the end of the 30 days, I will put out a conclusion video, talk about any findings, and generate a compilation piece that combines every day's drawing on top of each other. We'll see what it looks like. Yeah. So if you want a full schedule, because there will be some days that I'll have to miss because I'll be either just not able to come back and set it up before I go to sleep, different things happen, but there will be a schedule on saladboibook.club, and that's boy with an I instead of a Y. So check that out and you can get the full schedule of when I'll be doing it and what days I won't. And I'll post a video from the day before on the day after, obviously. If you want to check out any more stuff, you can check it out at my Instagram at PMB Illustrations. I also have a Patreon, and there's a link to that. Give it a check out if you want to help your boy make some more art and do some other stuff. So, yeah.